You're listening to End Zone Scoop, the show where three women discuss the beautiful game of American football. So join me, Bhandari from NFLGirlUK, and my co-host Dayna O'Gorman from Out Turf Football, and Shona Duthie from 99 Yards. Enjoy the show! Ladies, how are you both?
Good. We are in week 2 of constant rain here in Kansas City. I'm not quite sure why all of a sudden it decided the end of May was going to act like the beginning of April, but it's been pouring rain. But, you know, between that and not much to talk about in football, it's been kind of sucky. But we are here today to talk about football. So I'm excited about that.
I think maybe the Kansas rain is sweeping over to Scotland because it's also been raining here for about 2 weeks.
I need an arc or something at this point.
Yeah. My April spring coat's back out. I'm like, no. I put this back in the cupboard. Why is it back again?
Exactly.
All right, guys. So today we're going to be discussing the free agents that are still out there, the announcement of the London games, and the news of Tim Tebow joining as tight end for the Jaguars. So, yeah, let's get straight to it, Shona.
Yeah, so guys, did you think in 2021 we would be saying Tim Tebow is back in the NFL? Although, to be honest, Urban Meyer head coach, it makes sense because he was his head coach in college at Florida. So, he's obviously signed a 1-year deal to return, but not as a quarterback as we once knew him, but in the tight end position. His former teammate, Greg McElroy, has already came out and said it was disastrous trying to switch him at the tight end when they were at the New York Jets together. So this will be quite interesting to see. I mean, if you list the good tight ends in the NFL, you know, there's Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Kyle Pitts, TJ Hawkinson. I don't think I'm going to be going at the end of this season, Tim Tebow. He's also been given a number. He's going to be wearing number 85. But I kind of just feel like I've rolled back about 12 years, and I'm hearing that Tim Tebow is now in the NFL. I'm quite. I don't really know where to go about it, and I just want your ladies' thoughts on it. Like, really?
Do you really want my thoughts? I'm not sure that you do, because let me tell you, they're not very positive. Listen, I want to make this statement first and foremost out loud. My opinion of Tim Tebow has absolutely nothing to do with his personal life and the way he chooses to live his life. Okay, I want that to be put out there. This is all about football. My question is this: why? There are so many, and we're going to talk about free agents that are still out there. And I know he'll be vet minimum, and Urban Meyer has like this stupid soft spot for him. But why? Maybe they think they need even more hype. Oh, does this mean they get Hard Knocks for sure? Because they have this brand new long-haired golden boy quarterback. And now we've got, let's throw Tim Tebow into the mix and all of these other things that are going on. I don't know. Feel really bad for Shaquille Griffin right now. That's what I know. But so here's the thing. If you strictly look at Tim Tebow's record, okay, 3 seasons he played in the NFL, 3, and not very well in any of those seasons. But we're going to be a tight end now. So let's look at his receiving record. Okay. Well, in 2011, he still played for Denver after being drafted in 10. 14 games he played, 1 target, 0 receptions. Okay. So 12, he went to the Jets, the New York Jets. 12 games he played there, 0 receptions, 1 target. I mean, I don't and then he went to play baseball, and he wasn't very good at that either. I know that there's a lot of people out there who are very pro Tim Tebow. I don't know that it has to do with his athletic ability. I think it has more to do with his personal life, and that's fine. You can really like a guy, but when you're a brand new head coach with a brand new quarterback and basically a brand new team, what is the point of this other than more drama. I'm missing the point. And Urban Meyer, I think, said someone said something to the effect of, well, he deserves this chance. Well, you know, there's a lot of guys who deserve a chance out there. And, you know, and it's a long list. So why did we pick the one who wasn't very good the first time he played and then played baseball and wasn't very good at that and bring him back in a completely different position? I don't understand it. I don't like it. And I don't think it's fair to his teammates. That's just my thought.
I mean, yeah, that was my first reaction was, hold on, Tim Tebow's back before Colin Kaepernick's even getting a chance. I know it's a different position.
That's just a different situation. And I think you and I both know why that happened. So
yeah, but I mean, you know, I read earlier, you kind of do read Twitter reaction just to gauge like what other people are thinking. Because, you know, sometimes you think, am I the only one thinking this? No, I'm not the only one that thinks this about Tim Tebow. And also someone was like, is it just because he's a big white guy with muscles that they've gone, yes, he'll do for tight end? And it's like, okay.
So true.
So, you know, looks like Gronk, but won't be as good. That's basically what it is.
I don't get it. Liz, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the whole thing's a bit bizarre. Like, as far as I'm aware, he, I guess, retired from the NFL and, decided he was doing baseball and then obviously got bored doing that and he's now coming back. So, I don't know, he doesn't sound like the most committed of people. He doesn't sound like really knows what he wants to do, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
He's committed to one thing, but that's another story altogether.
Right. And that's just it. Listen, here's the thing. I just want to know, I get that he's a name. I get that he is a handsome, beefy looking white dude who just married Miss Universe or something, whatever. But why? That has nothing to do with his athletic ability. And everyone says, well, he's so athletic. He's so athletic. Yeah, in college, there are a lot of players who just could never transfer their college athleticism to the NFL. They just didn't happen. And he is a really good example of that. And I wish that at some point we could just let it go.
I'm loving the word beefy.
Yeah, well, it's like he's one of those Disney characters that, you know, oh, check this muscly guy. He's going to be really strong. But it's actually the little tiny guy next to him who's way stronger.
So funny.
Anyway, we do have a question in about good old Tim Tebow from Claire de Bear, who asked, do you think Tebow makes it on to the roster for the Jags? And if he does, will he see any play time in games?
I don't think he'll make the roster. I really don't. I don't remember how he can't be on the practice squad because he's ancient and already played too many games. But unless they carried over some of those weird COVID rules, I'll have to look into that. But no, I don't think he makes the roster. I just don't think. I think it looks good now, but I don't think it'll last past camp.
Maybe he'll be like kept on as a motivational speaker.
Again, different job.
A hype man for Urban. And anyway.
Liz, do you think he'll make the roster?
I don't know. Like, I always find this whole thing weird in that, like, some players don't make the roster. For some reason, that sort of blows my mind because I feel like when you sign for a team, like, you're there to go play, but I know that obviously isn't how it works. So, nah, I don't think there's too many actual good players that should, get their place before him. I think the whole thing's weird.
I think Tim Tebow is hard knocks bait. I really do. I think they're hard knocks.
Well, I mean, his old teammate did call it a stupid move. So that was his take on it.
And there we go.
Well, the opposite of stupid news, let's talk about good news. So earlier this month, as part of the schedule release, the London games were announced. So both games are going to take place at Tottenham's ground on consecutive Sundays in October. The first game being the Falcons hosting the Jets on the 9th and the Jaguars hosting the Dolphins on the 16th. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. And we've had a question in from Chris Lawton. He's asked, which game are you most looking forward to and why? For me, I literally don't really care that much about the games. The games, like, the matchups even, like, they are what they are, and I'm just excited that this game's back. But more excited, I think it means hopefully Dayna is coming to London, and then if we can get Shona down from Scotland, then it means we can get together in person, and that I'm excited for.
Well, you need to tell BA to get their shit together and stop making it so expensive for someone from Scotland to fly to London, but it's cheaper for me to fly to the States and watch a game. Then I'll come.
It's not just BA, it's Ticketmaster as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
like
many
I got a ticket for the Lions for like $40, which is, I don't know, like £30 here. And it is like £100 just in the gods in London. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'll just fly over to Detroit then, shall I? But no. No, it would be really good. Like, obviously, I miss meeting up with all the NFL fans. That's always the fun thing about NFL games. Yeah, it would be really good to actually be in person. We could do a podcast in London.
There you go. That would be super fun. So when I was looking at this, I got real excited, obviously, because I had to cancel the trip last year. And so I was really excited about this one. And we were looking at the two games. I've seen Miami play a handful of times. I've seen Jacksonville play a handful of times. Haven't ever seen the Falcons or the Jets. And so that's why I decided to pick that one. I thought that would probably, depending on how things go, could be the more interesting game. I mean, especially now with the Falcons announcing that, or they haven't announced, but the rumor's been out there that they're trying to trade Julio Jones. So the team is going to look different, but then again, they got Kyle Pitts, Anyway, the amazing new tight end that they got. And so I think it could be a good game. Plus we have this little rookie QB up in New York. And so I think that'll be an interesting game. So that's the game we chose. If they would, like I told you guys before, if the US and the UK would just get their crap together and let me buy my ticket, that would be great. But I do think the most important thing about the London games is that other than exposing people in the UK to a sport, the sport live, because I know that people can watch it on television, it just kind of makes the football world even smaller, because then, like, I have so many friends in the UK and in Germany that are football fans. I would have never met them any other way. And I just think that that's so fantastic. And so I think that that's really fun. Plus, you can go to this game and it doesn't matter if you have Jaguars or a Dolphins jersey on, or a Jets, or I wear a Seahawks jersey, and then you see other fans, and it's just so much fun. Yeah. But I think it's smart that they don't put these huge popular games like the division rivals and stuff like that. I don't think that they should go to London. And it's nothing against the London people. It's because then you would be inundated with Americans. They eat up all the tickets, because those games are so important. So I think it's good. They're still getting these East Coast teams, because really that's what they are, over there for people to get kind of behind. And there's a huge Dolphins community in the UK. And I think that that's because they've gone over there so often. So I think that that's great. I'm excited. Just let me buy my damn ticket.
Exactly. And we don't know when those go on sale yet either. So we just have to be patient and see how things go.
Cheap flights as well. Cheap flight fares, BA. Cheap.
All right, ladies. So let's just talk about some free agents that were left. It kind of goes along with our Tim Tebow conversation, right? Because like I was saying before, there were so many free agents. Now, this is a list that was updated May 15th. So it's been 5 days. So if any of these players have been signed or rumored, please do not kill me. Do not send me messages telling me I got it wrong, because I don't have time to look every single one of them up. So, but there are a few that are near and dear to my heart. I don't know about the other two of you, but they're out there still. So Sheldon Richardson is still available. He spent last year with Cleveland. Mitchell Schwartz, an offensive tackle out of Kansas City. I mean, beloved in Kansas City. He's still available. Richard Sherman is still out there. Come home, Shermy. I'm just going to keep saying that. And then KJ Wright, also from Seattle. I still think KJ is going to end up in Seattle. I think that the market for a lot of these players is starting to dwindle, and some of them might wait it out till training camp and someone gets hurt, and then they'll have to be paid a lot to come in, but we'll see how that goes. We also have Melvin Ingram is still out there. Pretty popular names: Olivier Vernon, 30 years old. Why did I think Olivier Vernon was like 35? I don't know why I thought he was, but he's only 30. Then you have Le'Veon Bell. You have a lot of running backs that are sitting out there. Todd Gurley, Duke Johnson, Everson Griffin, edge rusher, still available. Geno Atkins. So these are all names that we have heard and we know. And a year or so ago would have been huge gets for any team, right? In fact, they were a couple of them. Do you remember the Everson Griffin thing? That was going all over the place. People were so excited about him. Obviously, with the cap taking a dump this year, teams are being a little bit more frugal. But next year, they're expecting to be a big jump in the cap and even bigger than actually like crazy in the next year. So, these are all some aging veterans. These aren't super young kids. Again, Olivier Vernon surprised me. But so I was looking into this. Is it smart for them to maybe sit out this year? Is it maybe smart for them to take a 1-year contract, which I think a lot of these guys will, and then play well and hopefully get a better one next year? Which of those two, is it better to sit out, or do you think it's better to take that smaller contract and still play? I know I have my thoughts, but I'm going to start with Shona.
For me, I think it's better to play, even if you aren't, heavily involved. I think just being out of a team, it gets you in regular practice. It gets you into teams' training plans. It gets you into teams like how they play, and the likelihood is 9 times out of 10, I think they will keep you on when the cap space goes bigger next year. I think, in my opinion, it would be a bit silly for some of these guys to sit out. I can understand why they would, though, at the same time. But, people keep wanting younger people in, and they keep wanting newer faces, and they keep saying want the new shiny thing, which isn't always the answer. Sometimes it is these, veterans who have been around. In terms of like KJ Wright, I really hope Seattle does re-sign him. He's kind of like, Arnold Schwarzenegger in Kindergarten Cop. Who's your daddy? What do? You re-sign him. So
I hope to God KJ Wright hears that you said that about him. I'm gonna make sure that happens.
You gotta re-sign him, and I would love Sherman back in Seattle. We're kind of needing a cornerback, so I wouldn't be adverse to seeing him back in that wonderful colors of we have blue and green. But no, and Sheldon Richardson, he's also a great player, and I think he would be a great addition to any defense. So personally, for me, I would take a contract, even if it was for a year, even on a smaller contract, to prove myself, or just to be in a team and know what I'm doing for next year.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you're the player that takes that risk to, sit out for the year, you sort of get a little bit forgotten. Whereas if you are actually just practicing, at least, whatever team's looking at you can be confident that you're still fit enough to play. So, I always think it's a big risk if you're going to sit out for a season.
Mm-hmm. I think that we have to look at it this way too. I think that's really important is the fact that we have to look at whether or not what those contracts are. I got into a whole conversation over on the Hawk Blogger Patreon chat about, if KJ and Sherman were sitting there for Seattle and they were at a decent price, it would be illogical to not grab them. But what is that price? What is the logical price for the player? What is the logical price for the team? And that goes for every single one of those free agents. Is it fully guaranteed, including an injury? Is it not? Because last thing you want to do is have a career-ending injury on a 1-year deal for nothing. You know what I mean? And so I think a lot of that has to be weighed out. But I bet a lot of these guys are still sitting there until we get closer to camps. And as injuries happen in camp, I wonder how quickly that they'll be picked up then at that point. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
I better see some of them in blue and green. That's all I'm saying.
Well, okay. We'll see what we can do.
Or maybe Wolf Grey, but our Wolf Grey.
Fair enough.
Well, that's all for this week's episode of End Zone Scoop. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've got a listener question you'd like to ask us, message us through social media at End Zone Scoop. You'll find us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Until next time, thanks for listening.